This is the Leica Rugby 680 laser level, and if you're serious about layout work on a job site, it's the one to buy. But let me explain why. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been running this thing for the last 3 weeks on a commercial build, and I'll tell you right now, the thing that surprised me most was how little I had to touch it. You set it up, press the power button, and it's already level within 5 degrees in both directions. No fumbling with screws, no almost there, just straight to work. That's huge when you're trying to shoot elevations for a slab and the foreman is already yelling at you to hurry up. The horizontal self-leveling is fast enough that I've set this thing up on uneven ground, walked away to grab my tape, and come back to find it still perfectly level. That's not something I can say about the cheaper green beam units I've used in the past. Now, the range is where this thing really separates itself. With the included rod I-120 receiver clipped on, I've shot from one end of a 300-foot parking lot to the other without losing signal. That's not just line of sight either, it cuts through the glare of midday sun and still gives me a solid beep when the receiver locks on. I've used it to set batter boards for a full foundation layout without having to move the unit even once. If you've ever tried to do that with a $150 laser, you know how much of a pain it is to keep repositioning and releveling. This one just stays put, and that saves you time and frustration. The dual grade feature is the reason I upgraded from my old single slope unit. You've got an 8-degree adjustment range in both directions, and the dial-in mechanism is smooth, no jerky clicks that throw off your reading. I used it last week to set a 1/4 inch per foot slope on a trench for a storm drain. I dialed in the grade, locked it, and walked the line without having to constantly recheck. The manual adjustment is fine for most jobs, but if you're doing something more precise, the smart mode actually walks you through the process step by step. It's like having a second set of eyes guiding you through the grade. I didn't think I'd use it much, but after a couple of days, I found myself relying on it more than the manual dial. Durability is another area where this unit shines. It's IP67 rated, which means it's protected against dust and can handle being submerged in up to a meter of water for 30 minutes. I accidentally dropped it in a puddle last week, pulled it out, wiped it off, and it still worked perfectly. That's the kind of reliability you need on a job site where you're not always working in perfect conditions. The battery life is solid too, Alkaline kit included, and I've gotten close to 40 hours of continuous use on a set of AAs. That's enough to get through a full work week without swapping batteries, which is a nice bonus. Accuracy is where Leica really delivers. At 100 feet, it's accurate to within 1/16 of an inch. That's the kind of precision you need when you're setting forms for a concrete pour or aligning steel beams. I've compared it side by side with a total station on a few jobs, and the readings are always within a hair of each other. The horizontal self-leveling is also spot on. I've set this thing up on a tripod that was slightly out of level, and it still gave me a perfect horizontal line without any adjustment. That's not something you can say about every laser level out there. Now, it's not perfect. The price tag is higher than what you'd pay for a basic green beam unit, but if you're doing professional layout work, it's worth every penny. The only other thing I'll mention is that the receiver can be a little finicky if you're working in direct sunlight with a lot of glare. You might have to adjust the sensitivity or reposition the receiver to get a clean signal. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you're working in bright conditions all day. Overall, the Leica Rugby 680 is the best laser level I've ever used for professional construction work. It's fast, accurate, and built to last, and it saves you time and hassle on the job site. If you're serious about layout work and want a tool that won't let you down, this is the one to get. Link is below if you want to check it out.